What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video here on NHL 20, where once again we will be doing another career simulation video, this time on Kailer Yamamoto of the Edmonton Oilers. Kailer Yamamoto was drafted 22nd overall in the 2017 NHL entry draft by the Edmonton Oilers and has been one of their most talked about prospects since. From the 2017-18 season on, Yamamoto has spent time between the Oilers and their team in the minors, but this year he seems to finally have secured a full-time roster spot with Edmonton. Currently, Kailer Yamamoto has put up 28 points in 48 games this year and has been very solid as he and the Edmonton Oilers keep up their push to the playoffs. So today, we're going to be taking control of an Eastern Conference team and doing whatever we can to stay out of the way of the Edmonton Oilers and Kailer Yamamoto in the simulation. Then we're going to simulate year by year to see his stats and if he wins any awards. So with all this being said, now let's see how Yamamoto is looking heading into his first year of the simulation. So heading into the first season of this simulation, EA and the Edmonton Oilers have Kailer Yamamoto starting in the minors on the second line at right wing. Kailer Yamamoto is starting off at 73 overall and has high top 6 potential. The game originally had him at medium top 6 potential, but with how he's been playing this year in real life, I decided to give him a little bit of a bump in potential. Although I bumped his potential, I did not touch any of his stats, and to start off he has 87 deking, 83 offensive awareness, and pretty decent skating stats. Now let's see if Kailer Yamamoto will find his way to the NHL full-time in year number 1 and possibly make a push for the Calder Trophy. So in year number 1 of this sim, Kailer Yamamoto did not see NHL ice and spent the full season with the Bakersfield Condors in the minors, who finished 15th in the AHL. The Condors fell in the first round to the Eagles in 5 games, and Kailer Yamamoto led the team in scoring with 21 goals and 27 assists for 48 points in 68 games. In the playoffs, he had just an assist, and Kailer Yamamoto increases to a 77 overall, and hopefully this is enough for him to make the jump to the NHL next season. In year number 2, Kailer Yamamoto finally cracks the full-time NHL roster and played the whole season with the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers ended up finishing 15th in the NHL and did make the playoffs, where they fell to the Vancouver Canucks in 7 games. Kailer Yamamoto's first full NHL season saw him score 13 goals and 25 assists for 38 points, and in the playoffs had 3 assists in 7 games. Kailer Yamamoto not only went up to 82 overall, but also shot up to medium elite potential. He did not win the Calder Trophy, as that went to Oliver Wahlstrom of the New York Islanders, and in the offseason, Yamamoto signs a 1-year, $1.8 million extension with the Oilers. Again, the Oilers make the playoffs after having a fantastic regular season that sees them finishing 4th in the entire league. In the playoffs, they fall to the San Jose Sharks in the second round in 6 games, and the Ottawa Senators, led by Alexis Lafreniere, take home the Stanley Cup. Kailer Yamamoto's regular season was a big one, as he scored 28 goals and 50 assists for 78 points in 73 games, and in the playoffs scored 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points in 13 games. Yamamoto is up to an 86 overall, and if you're wondering how all this is possible, here's what's going on. Heading into this season and throughout, Yamamoto has been playing on the first line with 97 overall Connor McDavid and 87 overall Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. On the line below them is a 97 overall Leon Draisaitl, and on top of this, Kuffner on the third line also ended up taking home the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year. I promise I do not have the sim engine on high. This team is just absolutely stacked, and if they don't win a cup with this core, they would be arguably the biggest choke artists in the NHL. Also, this was the last year of Yamamoto's prior deal, and in the offseason he signs a 7-year extension worth $9.8 million per year with the Edmonton Oilers. So after me going on about how stacked this team is, the Oilers end up finishing 21st in the league and miss out on the Stanley Cup playoffs. Despite this, Kailer Yamamoto does not slow down at all and sets a new career high once again. Yamamoto scored 29 goals and 56 assists for 85 points in 81 games and increases to an 89 overall. Once again, Edmonton is back in the playoffs after finishing 7th in the league, but once again cannot put together a deep run as they fell in the first round to the Calgary Flames in 7 games. Kailer Yamamoto's regular season was monstrous as he outscored both Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, scoring 33 goals and 67 assists for 100 points on the year. In the playoffs, he was less effective, scoring just 3 assists, and Kailer Yamamoto ends up taking home the Art Ross Trophy and is now up to 92 overall. Year 6 is another absolutely massive regular season for the Edmonton Oilers as they finish 4th in the NHL, but once again cannot get out of the first round, as this time they lose to the Arizona Coyotes in 6 games. Yamamoto again sets a new season high as he scored 28 goals and 74 assists for 102 points, and in just 6 playoff games scored 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points. Despite setting his new career high, Yamamoto decreases 1 overall to a 91. The Oilers again have another amazing regular season, and this one sees them finishing 1st in league and taking home the President's Trophy. Like usual, the playoffs don't live up to their regular season as they again can't go deep in the playoffs and fall in the second round in 7 games to the San Jose Sharks after being up 3-1 in the series. Yamamoto for the 3rd straight year breaks the 100-point mark and again sets a new career high after putting up 103 points after scoring 29 goals and 74 assists. In the playoffs, he scored 5 goals and 11 assists for 16 playoff points and increases back up to a 92 overall. For the second straight season, the Edmonton Oilers win the President's Trophy, this time after putting up a 60-win season. The playoffs were more of the same as they fell in Game 7 of the conference finals versus the Arizona Coyotes. Yamamoto has another huge season, this time scoring 32 goals and 71 assists for 103 points, which matched his career high. In the playoffs, he was very solid as he scored 7 goals and 12 assists for 19 playoff points in 20 playoff games. Kailer Yamamoto stays put at 92 overall. In year number 9, the Edmonton Oilers break the all-time best regular season record after going 66-12-4 and again take home the President's Trophy. In the playoffs, they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games, which is definitely another team that knows a thing or two about breaking records and coming up short. In another full 82-game regular season, Kailer Yamamoto scored 36 goals and 62 assists for 98 points, and in the playoffs added another 23 points after scoring 4 goals and 19 assists. Kailer Yamamoto once again stays put at 92 overall as he heads into the final year of his current deal. For the 4th straight year, the Edmonton Oilers win the President's Trophy, but this time finally go on to win the Stanley Cup in 5 games over the Ottawa Senators. In the regular season, Kailer Yamamoto scored 33 goals and 59 assists for 92 points and added 22 more points in the playoffs as the Oilers went on to win the Cup. Yamamoto did not win the Conn Smythe as that went to Leon Draisaitl, and he decreases in overall to a 91. And in the offseason, he does go on to sign a 6-year extension with the Oilers worth $12.1 million per year, leaving Edmonton just $1 million shy of the cap. So 10 years into this simulation, only 9 in the NHL with the Oilers, Kailer Yamamoto has played in 754 NHL games, scored 262 goals and 542 assists for 804 NHL points. On top of these amazing numbers, he also has himself an Art Ross trophy and the greatest prize of them all, the Stanley Cup. I guess that's what playing top line minutes with Connor McDavid can do for you, and regardless of that, it's a great career so far, and now let's see how the rest of it plays out. After 4 straight first place finishes, the Edmonton Oilers fall a bit in the standings in year 11 as they finish 9th in the league. Despite this, they go on a deep run in the playoffs and fall in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Detroit Red Wings. In the first season of his new contract extension, Kailer Yamamoto scored 21 goals and 70 assists for 91 points, and in the playoffs scored 8 goals and 16 assists for 24 points in only 19 playoff games. With all this, Yamamoto stays put at 91 overall. Year 12 has the Oilers making the playoffs for the 8th straight year after finishing 8th in the league. The playoffs for the first time in a while were a bit disappointing as they went out in just 5 games to the Kings in round number 1. The Oiler fans can't be too mad though, as the Oilers went to the Cup in 3 of the last 4 years. Kailer Yamamoto breaks his career best once again this year, scoring 33 goals and 79 assists for 112 points, and in just 5 playoff games scored a goal and an assist. After setting his career best, Yamamoto is back up to a 92 overall. The Edmonton Oilers still are showing no signs of slowing down as they finished 4th in the league and once again found themselves in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In the playoffs, they make another solid attempt at the Cup, but do fall short as they fell to the Vancouver Canucks in the Western Conference Finals in 5 games. Kailer Yamamoto matches his career high, which he set last season with 39 goals and 73 assists for another 112-point regular season, and in the playoffs scored an additional 5 goals and 14 assists for 19 playoff points. Despite this, Yamamoto does decrease in overall and is back down to a 91. For the first time in 9 years, the Edmonton Oilers missed the playoffs as they ended up finishing 17th in the NHL. Despite this, Kailer Yamamoto still puts up a very solid season that saw him score 22 goals and 71 assists for 93 points. Yamamoto is now 34 years old, and with that he falls to an 89 overall despite having a 90+ point season. After losing in the conference finals just 2 years prior, in year 15 the Edmonton Oilers fall off a cliff and finish 28th in the league. In this awful season from the Oilers, Yamamoto's production took a hit as expected, and in a full 82-game regular season, Kailer Yamamoto scored 31 goals and 45 assists for 76 points and falls to an 86 overall. So at the deadline, Kailer Yamamoto does end up being traded to the Los Angeles Kings and helps them finish 2nd in the NHL. And in the playoffs, the LA Kings end up being upset by the Arizona Coyotes in just 5 games. Kailer Yamamoto in the season split between Edmonton and LA only played in 61 games and in them scored 8 goals and 33 assists for 41 points in the regular season, and was injured throughout the playoffs, which sucks considering Los Angeles sent Edmonton a first rounder for him to be a depth player for the playoffs most likely. Yamamoto drops to an 84 overall and in the offseason re-signs with the Los Angeles Kings on a 2-year, $3.9 million per year deal. In their first full season with Kailer Yamamoto, the Los Angeles Kings finished 8th in the NHL and in the playoffs fell to their division rivals, the San Jose Sharks, in Game 7 of the second round. Yamamoto's regular season was only 70 games, and in them he scored 22 goals and 23 assists for 45 points, and in the playoffs scored 5 goals and an assist for 6 points in 11 playoff games. Kailer Yamamoto drops to an 80 overall and does decide to hang up the skates at 37 years old. So after 16 seasons in the NHL, Kailer Yamamoto played in 1,293 games, scored 438 goals and 936 assists for 1,374 career points. On top of this, Yamamoto won 2 Art Ross trophies and also the Stanley Cup with the Edmonton Oilers. Kailer Yamamoto peaked at 92 overall, which isn't common for someone starting with the potential in the top 6, but I guess that's just what happens when you have Connor McDavid on your line for the most part of your career. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and before we go, I would just like to give a big thank you for 5,000 subscribers. The support lately has been insane, and again, I can't thank you guys enough. I think for the next career simulation video, we'll be going back to a goalie and doing either Ilya Samsonov or Igor Shesterkin. So let me know who would you like to see, and once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.